Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli wa nusallimu ala rasulihil kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. Faqad qala Allahu tabaraka wa ta'ala fil Qur'anil kareem wal Furqanil hamid. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. وحافظوا على الصلوات والصلاة الوسطى وقوموا لله قانتين. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من نام عن الصلاة أو نسيها فليصليها إذا ذكرها أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. ربنا يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح. ربي زدني علما. اللهم صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, we praise and we thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala once again, who has given us the tawfiq to come, sit, listen and speak about some of the rulings that we as believers have to implement in our lives because of the rulings and injunctions of Islam that has been laid down by Allah and the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We were speaking about in our last day session the topic of Qadha Salaah and the topic of making up of those salawah wherein we have missed. And we mentioned, my dear respected brothers and sisters, the importance of the making up of these missed salawat and how important it is for any individual to make such a tartib whereby they could perform these salawat that has been missed, whether it is for one day, whether it is one salah, whether it is 1 year or many years on end or many years in between. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to protect our salah and He has commanded us to perform our salah, and therefore it is compulsory. So much so, if a person denies that salah is compulsory upon a believer, they will become a non-believer, because these are from amongst the compulsory elements of Islam, and it is essential to make qadha of it. Sometimes a person will think, as we have mentioned, that it is a lot, and therefore even with regards to this ruling of the salah that have been missed, some of the jurists have mentioned that you have to mention the specific salah that we are going to perform for that particular time, that particular day of the past. Some of them have mentioned that we need not be, if we cannot remember that particular salah, like last week Friday of the Isha salah, I am going to make qadha of that, whatever have you. Or for those salawat that I have missed, a person can make intention, as is mentioned in Fatawa Mahmudiya and other kitabs. A person can say, oh Allah, I am going to perform the first Fajr as qadha that I have missed in my life, and continue in that way until they have reached, oh Allah, I am going to make inshallah the qadha of the last salah that I have missed in my life. So like that, my dear respected brothers and sisters, tartib has to be made with regards to the making up of these salawat, because if that is not done, then in the end a person will have to make a wasiyat to pay the fidya for these types of missed salawat if a person cannot do so. And we will come up to that inshallah. We continue today with the ruling of if a person has only one qadha salah to offer, and before this he never missed any salah, or he had missed in the past but he had made qadha of all of them, then he should offer this one qadha salah before offering any other salah. If he offers any other salat without offering this qadha salah, the salah of that time will not be valid. He must offer the qadha salah and repeat that other salah. However, if he completely forgot to offer the qadha salah, the other salah, that is the fard salah of the timing, will be valid. When he remembers, he will merely have to qadha the salah that he missed, and it will not be necessary at this point to repeat back the salah that he has performed of the timing. Now, where does this come from? Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, in the battle of the trench, he had been occupied in the building of this trench, and in some traditions it mentions he missed 4 salah. When the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam had to make up for this salah, he started with the dhuhr salah. He started with the first salah. He did not start with the salah of the timing. He started with the dhuhr salah, asr, maghrib, as the case may be. And there are different riwayats that has been mentioned. We know of the riwayat whereby they had slept away from the performance of the Fajr prayer, and Adhan was called, Iqamah was called, they performed the Sunnah of Fajr, then the Farz of Fajr in Jama'ah, right? So the tartib is there. So the jurist, even in the book of Hidayah, mentions Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli, perform salah as you see me performing salah. So therefore there is no other thing to show that Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam allowed otherwise. So therefore this tartib and this sequence of performing the missed salah, then the farz salah, is essential and mustahaq according to the Hanafi jurists. So this is why it has been mentioned here, my dear respected brothers and sisters. A person miss 1 salah. Let's say they miss the dhuhr salah, then they are going to perform the asr salah. If they are going to perform the asr salah, they must perform the dhuhr salah firstly in the timing of asr because they missed it, and then thereafter perform the asr salah. This of course is a person who has never missed any salah in their life, never missed any salah, so they do not have any 20 days of salah to make up for, and they are known as a person who is called Sahibut Tartib, the owner of a tartib, the owner of order. They have to perform their salah in order. So much so different masails apply with them. They cannot go and perform the salah of the time. So let us understand what is Sahibut Tartib, my dear respected brothers and sisters. A person, ever since they have reached the age of puberty, they have been performing all their salawat. This is one person who is known as Sahibut Tartib. They have not missed any salah. And therefore, if they were to miss any salah now, or another person who can be Sahibut Tartib, before we go there inshallah, is that they missed salah before. However, they have recorded and ensure that they perform all those salawat. How do the jurists mention? If a person probably, they are just estimating, they are not sure, perform and perform and perform until a person is contented that I have fulfilled all those salah. Right? And as we have in the previous session, we mentioned how easy it can be, inshallah. Right? How easy it can be. Right? Just as saving, a person will think, it's difficult, how can I save $10,000? But save $1 a day, see what happens in years to come. We would not realize how that money was capable of being accumulated. Likewise, we perform 1 salah now, after Maghrib, 1 salah after Isha. Write it down, my dear respected brothers and sisters. We will see how many salawat we will be able to perform. 5 times a day we are performing salah, making qadha 5 times salah. It is like we are performing salah of 2 days. Right? The day that we have to, and a day that we are making up before in our life. 365 days in the year. right? And like that we go on inshallah with regards to the solar calendar. So, or the person missed salawat in their lives, but then made up for it. This person, it will be understood that the tartib has come back. The person missed many salat. So how does a person become like sahib al-tartib? What is being mentioned here is that two types of persons can be considered as a person who they cannot perform the salah of the time until they have performed the missed salah. One, the person who has never missed any salah in their life, and now they miss one salah. They cannot perform the salah of the time, and we will come to the exceptions inshallah, but they generally speaking cannot perform the salah of the time until they perform this qadha salah. When this qadha salah is performed, then they can perform the salah of the timing. This is one example of sahib al-tartib. Now there's another opinion about a person who is not sahib al-tartib. They have missed many salah in their life. Such a person, they can perform salah anyhow, whether it is the qadha salah or the salah of the timing. Why? Because they are not a person who has the tartib, and they have to go in that sequence because it's so much. It's too much. So they would not, even if they tried, they would not be able to perform the salawat of the qadha salah in that timing, and thereafter perform the salah of that timing. So it's plentiful. Kathratul fawaid, right? Plentiful of missed salah, and we will come up to those factors inshallah. The second person who the tartib returns to, he had many missed salah, but now he kept performing, and it came now to less than 6. 6 salawat is a benchmark that the scholars have used, that if a person misses more than 6 salawat, not including the witr salah, that would be considered as plenty salah. Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, then Fajr again. Person misses all these salawat, it is considered that, then they miss 2 days. They weren't performing salah at all. For many years now, mashallah, Allah has given them tawfiq. They come to the masjid. We need not tell them, go and perform your qadha salah, then join the jama'ah. But, let's say for example, they miss only 3 days salah. From Salatul Chash time, 10 o'clock this morning, they started to make their qadha salat. Dhuhr salah came in, and now they just had to make up back for 2 more salah. Right? They had to make up back for 2 more salah. Now, according to some of the scholars, as has been mentioned in the book Al-Hidayah, the tartib returns. He has a little amount of salah, he has to make up for that salah firstly, then he can actually perform the salah of the time. And this is what a person who is known as a sahib al-tartib, or a person who has less than 6 salah to make qadha of. Such persons, my dear respected brothers and sisters, they have to perform the qadha salah firstly, then the salah of the time. If the person, and we will make it simple inshallah, the person only missed 1 salah, he missed Dhuhr salah, now it's time for Asr salah, but it's great spans of time, salah in Jama is going to be established. He missed the Dhuhr salah. Now he remembers, I did not perform my Dhuhr. He cannot join the line for Asr to perform the salah in Jama. He has to go one side, perform this Dhuhr salah, and then come back and perform the Asr salah. Why? He is a sahib al-tartib. He has performed all his salah in order. He cannot perform the salah of the time until he has performed the salah that he has missed. Right? Again, this is the sequence that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned. So much so, checking in the book Fatawa Mahmudiyah, Mufti Mahmud Nawwarallahu Marqadahu has mentioned a person did not perform the Fajr. Now, Jummah Salah has started. And the question is, the person fears if he goes to perform the Fajr Salah, he will miss the Jum'ah Salah. He still has to perform the Fajr Salah as Qadha for the Sahib al-Tartib. Why? There's a Qadha, there's a badal, there's a substitute for the Jum'ah Salah, which is Dhuhr. Just as any individual who is trying to come for the Jum'ah, but we did not cater all four sides of this masjid, in traffic is blocked. No one can come. Many people are stuck in the traffic. 12:20 is going, they are stuck in traffic. 12:30 is going, they are stuck in traffic. 12:40, 12:50, 1 o'clock, they are still in traffic. They can sit in their car and perform the Jum'ah Salah. What will they have to do? Perform the Dhuhr Salah, right? When they get a chance to perform it. So likewise, this individual, yes, it is compulsory, but the Jum'ah Salah, it is unique and different from the Eid Salah, whereby the Eid Salah you have no substitute, but the Jum'ah Salah you have the substitute. So therefore, the person must perform their Salah that they have missed, then join the Salah that is established at the time. So the person, as we were saying, they missed the Dhuhr Salah, Asr Salah is standing. They now realize that they did not perform the Dhuhr Salah. They will perform the Dhuhr Salah because they are Sahib al-Tartib. Then come and join with the Salah of the time. If not, if they know that they did not perform the Dhuhr Salah and they have never missed any Salah before, and they join the Jamaat to perform the Asr Salah, and they have a great span of time to fulfill the Asr Salah, their Asr Salah will be invalid. And this is what has been mentioned here. The Asr Salah will be invalid. It will not be valid. That person must perform the Qadha Salah firstly and then repeat the other Salah. However, if the person completely forgot to offer the Qadha Salah, the other Salah will be valid. When he remembers, he will merely have to offer the Qadha Salah and it will not be necessary to repeat the other Salah. Same example, we missed the Dhuhr Salah, come to perform the Asr Salah, we are performing the Asr Salah, and after we have performed the Asr Salah, we are making our adhkar and so on, and then I did not perform my Dhuhr today. So normally I would perform, and however the person was able to recollect and reflect that, I missed the Dhuhr Salah. In such a case, because they forgot, forgetfulness is one of the three factors that would cause it to be permissible for a person to perform the Salah of the time as opposed to performing the Qadha Salah firstly. Right? So now the person performed the Asr Salah, forgot, they missed the Dhuhr Salah, totally forgot, until after Salams, and after they have read their adhkar and so on. No, this Asr Salah will not be void. Why? The person has forgotten, they did not do it intentionally, and this is one of the three factors that would make it permissible to perform the Salah of the time firstly, before the Salah that has to be made up. Right? So that would not cause the Salah of the time to become invalid. He now, after performing the Asr Salah, he will have to make Qadha of the Dhuhr Salah. As we have mentioned last day, that after the Fajr, we can perform Qadha Salah. After the Asr, we can perform the Qadha Salah also. Right? After Asr, we can perform Qadha Salah. Right? Preferably not when the sun becomes yellowish until sunset, except the Asr of that day. Then of course, we can perform the Asr of that day anytime until the sunset. So much so, again, even if the sun had set or the sun is setting, perform the Asr Salah. Right? And again, this is these are messiahs that have been posed in Fatawa Mahmudiya and has been answered in that manner, what we answered last day. A person, they have 1 minute again to perform salah. And they have to perform 4 rakats. It may not be humanly possible to perform those 4 rakats in 1 minute. Nevertheless, start the salah. At least a person got 1 rakat, as the case may be, on the time. Do not delay it and say, I will make it as qadha. No. Perform it there and it will lapse over in the other timing. And as we said, where did it come from? Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, when he had to start with the salah, he did not start with the salah of the time. He started with the salah, firstly dhuhr, asr, then the maghrib. Right? If the time is so short that if he offers the qadha salah firstly, he will miss the other salah, then he should offer the other salah first, that is the farz salah, and then offer the qadha salah. Right? If a person, they remembered that they did not perform dhuhr, but dhayyikul waqt, they only have a short span of time to perform the farz of that particular time, what do they do now? This is the second factor that drops off the tartib of the salah of a person who has the tartib. One, we have mentioned kathratul fawaid, plentiful of salawat. Second, nisyan, forgetfulness. Right? A person forgot. So if they forgot, they perform the salah of the time, alhamdulillah, that salah does not become invalid. Right? We indicated towards kathrat al-fawaid before, whereby we mentioned that a person missed many different salawat. Now he is going to perform the salah of the timing. He need not perform all those different qadha salah and then perform the salah of the time, because it's so many. So we indicated that before. So one is kathrat al-fawaid, plentiful of our salah. One is nisyan, forgetfulness. And the last factor that would make it permissible for a person to perform the salah of the time, the farz salah of the time, as opposed to engaging in the qadha salah, will be dhayyikul waqt. If the time is so short, if the person were to engage in this qadha salah, they will actually also have to perform the other salah as qadha. Then they will perform the salah of the time. Right? They will perform that salah of the time again. For example, a person slept away. Right? Slept away at 2 o'clock. Said they would wake up and perform their dhuhr salah, and go to the masjid, perform the asr salah, because probably they had a long night, or they work, whatever have you. And now they woke up late. They woke up just in time, whereby you had time to make wudu and perform 4 rakats. So they made wudu. Now it's time. What 4 rakats do I perform? Do I perform dhuhr or do I perform asr? Must perform the asr. Why? If you don't perform the asr, you have already 1 qadha salah to make up for. We will have 2 to make up for. Right? So we will perform the asr. Thereafter, we will perform the maghrib. Thereafter, we will perform the dhuhr salah. We will perform the asr firstly, then dhuhr, then maghrib. Right? Have to miss the maghrib and perform the dhuhr first. Why? Again, because of the sequence of the salawat. And sequence in salat, according to the Hanafi jurists, based upon the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam's action of performing dhuhr, asr, maghrib and isha, that is essential. So therefore, never mind the salah is being established, the person must perform their qadha salah and then join the salah in jama if they can get it. If not, they will perform this salah afterwards, even though the jamaat has ended. Why? Again, because of the importance of performing the qadha salah immediately. Right? Because of the importance of the performance of the qadha salah immediately. A person misses 2, 3 4 or 5 salah and does not have and has no other salah to repeat from the past, that is the time that he became mature, he did not miss any salah, or if he missed any salah, he made qadha of it, then as long as he does not offer these 5 salawat, it would not be permissible for him to offer any other salah. When he offers the qadha of these 5 salawat, he should offer them in the same order as he missed them. Then the one, that is the one he missed first, should be offered first, and the one he missed second should be offered second, and so on. So if a person misses the salah, fajr, dhahar, asr, maghrib and isha, when offering the qadha, he should perform it in the same manner: fajr, dhahar, asr, maghrib and isha. If he does not offer the fajr first, but dhahar or asr or any other salah, this will not be proper, and he will have to repeat the salah. This will not be proper, and he will have to repeat the salah. So what is being mentioned here, my dear respected brothers and sisters, again, with regards to the tartib of salah. As long as a person is sahib al-tartib, the tartib of the qadha salat has to be maintained, as well as the tartib of the salah of the timing. Just as we will not perform isha before we perform maghrib, we have to perform maghrib first and then isha. Everybody understands that. Likewise, as long as it is 5 salah or less, then we have to make qadha of 5 salah or less. We must make the qadha of them in order. If we do not do so, we perform dhuhr first, then the fajr, it will become invalidated. It will not be valid. Right? We have to perform it in order as long as it is 5 salawat or less. Right? As long as it is 5 salah or less. If a person has to make qadha of 6 salah or more, he can offer any other salah without having offered the 6 qadha salah. And when he offers these 6 salah, he does not have to offer them in order that he missed them. He can offer them in any order that he wishes. It is no longer wajib for him to offer them in order. Right? So we mentioned about 5 or less. Now 6 or more means that the person is no longer sahib al-tartib. He can perform dhuhr first. Like as we were mentioning about the sequence, a person perform maghrib, they perform a qadha of maghrib. Person perform isha, perform a qadha of isha. Person perform fajr, perform a qadha of fajr. Right? That is not in order. Right? Order means we perform fajr, dhuhr, asr, then maghrib. Right? Now, yes, this is in order with regards to performing it after the timing. What is being meant here is that when we are performing it at one time, we have to perform dhuhr first, asr, maghrib and isha, because it is 5 or less. If it is 6 or more, it means that we have no tartib anymore. We can join salah in jama', we can perform, if we want, asr salah, and then make up for the fajr salah afterwards, although which one did we miss first? Fajr. But we could perform the asr first or the isha first, as the case may be. Right? Because now it is plenty of salah. 6 or more is considered as plenty. 5 or less is considered as small amount. When it is a small amount, the tartib remains. When it is a small amount, the tartib remains, and we have to perform it in order. When it is plentiful, the tartib and the order is excused, and we could perform it in any order. If a person missed out the witr salah and does not have any other qadha salah to offer, it is not permissible for him to offer the fajr salah without having offered the qadha of the witr salah firstly. If he knows that he has to make qadha of the witr salah first and still offers the fajr salah, he will have to offer the qadha of the witr and then repeat the fajr. Mention has been made here now, the witr salah, according to the Hanafi jurists, it's wajib. Based upon the traditions of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has increased for you the witr. So perform it between Isha and Fajr. We will come to the witr salah inshallah, right, in as much detail as possible, as necessary inshallah, to make us understand the differences of the witr salah. But sufficient to say, witr salah according to the Hanafi madhab, it is wajib. Based upon what? Dala'il from Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. A person thought that, you know what, when I wake up for tahajjud, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, make the witr the last salah of the night. So I will wake up, perform my tahajjud salah. But the person was very tired. I will perform the tahajjud salah, then the witr. But the person was very tired. They woke up only afterwards. They were so tired, they did not hear the alarm clock. They did not probably hear their wife waking them up. Whatever have you. Got up for the Fajr prayer. As normal, hearing the adhan, made wudu, go to perform the Fajr prayer. But then they now realized, I did not perform my witr. They cannot perform the salah of the time until they had made qadha of this witr. And this is what has been mentioned. If they performed the Fajr prayer, knowing that they had to perform the witr as qadha, then this Fajr prayer will become invalid. And they will have to perform the witr prayer, and thereafter, when we say invalid, means it's not there. You have to perform over the Fajr prayer. Because the person performed the prayer remembering that they did not perform the witr. And it is wajib, which is very close to farz. Right? Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, this is the hadith that we mentioned. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Man nama anis salah aw nasiyaha. Whosoever sleeps away from salah or forgets it, falyusalliha idha dhakaraha. Perform it when you remember it. Right? فَلْيُصَلِّهَا إِذَا ذَكَرَهَا. Right? Perform it when you remember it. That's a command of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Perform salah as you see me performing. So therefore that's what we have to do. And as we mentioned, of course, the exception will be the making qadha in the forbidden timings. Or the timing whereby a person now, right, they have to perform the farz salah because now what? It is little bit of time before that the timing of that particular salah ends. Another masla is that a person performed his Isha salah and he slept, he woke up, performed tahajjud, made wudu, performed his tahajjud salah, witr salah, and the next morning he realized, I performed my Isha salah without wudu. He realized, I performed my Isha salah without wudu. This is a mistake that is condoned by the Sharia because it was a mistake on his behalf. He performed, although the tartib must have been there. When we say tartib, we have to make the tartib between Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and also witr then Fajr. And when we say witr, we cannot perform witr first then the Isha. Witr, the sequence of performing the Isha first is necessary. So much so, we will come to that masla. If a person performs the witr salah firstly, remembering they did not perform the Isha, that witr becomes invalid. Witr is between Isha and Fajr. They have to perform the witr, the Fajr, Isha and Fajr. They have to perform the Isha salah firstly, then the witr, then they can perform the Fajr. But no, there was a mistake. They did perform it, but it was not valid. Why? They did not realize they did not have wudu. They performed the Isha without wudu. And then they, mashallah, they got up, performed the Tahajjud Salah, performed the Witr Salah, and they had wudu. What does a person do in that scenario? They will repeat the Isha Salah, but they need not repeat the Witr Salah. Although technically it was performed out of sequence, because that is invalid, and what is invalid, you will not consider it. But this was not done intentionally. So therefore, intentionally performing it out of order is the problem. If a person by way of mistake did not perform the Isha Salah, thereafter realize they will not have to make up again for that Witr Salah. Inshallah, they performed it already. Qadha Salah, it's only for Fard and Witr. Qadha Salah is only for the Fard and Witr, and it is not for the Sunnah Salah. However, if a person misses the Fajr Salah, they can make Qadha for it until midday, as we have mentioned time and time again, that a person can make the Qadha of the Sunnah of Fajr Salah based upon the importance of it. According to Imam Muhammad rahmatullahi alayhi, they can perform the Qadha of it before Zawal, before midday, if they did not perform it before the Fajr. If a person has to make Qadha of the Fajr prayer after midday, they should only make Qadha of the Farz. They should only make Qadha of the Farz. A person had missed several salawat and did not get the opportunity to make Qadha of them as yet. At the time of death, it will be wajib for him to make a wasiyah, to make a will, to pay fidya for the missed salawat. If a person does not do this, says Maulana Shafari Tanvi rahmatullahi alayhi, then they will be sinning. That is, if we have to perform our salah, we have to perform our salah. As long as we have health and strength, we must perform our salah. If by chance we were trying to make up for the Qadha Salah, or we delayed for some reason or the other, and we did not make up for Qadha Salawat, no. What happens is that a person still has outstanding debts to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How do we make up for that? Fidya. Now, fidya is not an option when we can do the salah. Some people just think that, fidya is also for fasting. So some people think, well, I will not fast, I will just pay fidya. Can't do that. If we can fast, and we cannot pay fidya and not fast for a flimsy excuse, or for an excuse that is not validated by the Sharia. It must be a valid excuse according to the Sharia in order for us to pay fidya. So coming back with regards to fidya of salah, if we did not perform a certain amount of salawat, we try to make up for it, whether out of negligence we did not make up for it, or no, whether because of circumstances we cannot make up for it. Right? On my deathbed, person cannot make up for their salawat. What do? Make a wasiyat. Tell their heirs, their inheritors, the people who are going to inherit for them, the responsible people there, out of 1/3 of my wealth, that's the only amount a person who is deceased has a say on their wealth when they are dying. From 1/3 of the wealth, they can make a wasiyat to pay fidya for 20 salahs, the case may be. Let's say fidya is $6, $7, as the case may be. 20 by 6, 6 twos is 12, $120, right? To the poor and the needy people as fidya, right? And if they do not do so, they will be sinful, because in the absence of the salah, then the fidya will have to be paid in the absence of the salah. If a young child offers the Isha salah and sleeps away, and after the break of dawn realizes they had a wet dream for the first time, the correct and preferred opinion is that he should repeat the Isha salah. And if he wakes up before the break of dawn and he notices that he had a wet dream, then he must make qadha of the Isha salah. This is just another point to be noted here, my dear respected brothers and sisters, with regards to the making qadha of a salah. And we spoke a bit about it in the chapter of purity with regards to women in their menses. A young girl who has now become baligh, if she becomes baligh at the time of 10 o'clock, she now starts to see her menses, right? Or sorry, she now becomes, her first menses, so she became pure in a timing whereby she could have taken ghusl and said Allahu Akbar. That salah becomes a debt in her responsibility. She has to make qadha of that salah. Likewise, a boy, he performed the Isha salah, but he performed it because his father was going masjid. He was not baligh. He did not reach the age of puberty. But now, let's say for example, 2 o'clock, he got a wet dream. Getting a wet dream means he has now reached the stage of adolescence, the stage of being mature. And that means he is accountable in the Sharia. What he performed last night was because his father brought him to the masjid and told him perform the salah. He performed it, he was a child. Whether he performed it or not, he will not be held accountable. He is not mukallaf of deen. But now he became mature, and although he performed this Isha salah, he performed that Isha salah last night as nafil. Now he is mature, he has to it still has time for Isha, or he woke up but he realized that this wet dream would have taken place in Isha's timing. It means he has to make qadha of the Isha salah. It means he has to make qadha of the Isha salah. We will mention one other ruling before we end this session, inshallah, which is a ruling that has been given based upon the opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi, that if we mentioned that a person performing salah and missed one salah, they cannot perform the salah of the time, otherwise their salah will become invalid. Even if they perform the salah of the time, there is a way out with regards to an opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi, whereby this particular salah will not become invalid. If the person, he offered the obligatory prayer of that time, and he knows or he remembers that he missed one, even the witr salah, then the prayer of the time becomes invalid or suspended according to Imam Abu Hanifa. It becomes invalid if we repeat the salah, if we make qadha of the salah that we have missed. As we mentioned before that masla, we missed dhuhr, we are performing asr, but we knew that we missed dhuhr and we have a lot of time. So instead of performing the dhuhr, we perform the asr. This asr, it could become invalidated if we perform the dhuhr afterwards, and that means we will have to perform the asr afterwards again. Now there is a way of, so to say, saving this asr salah according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi. If we perform the asr and we weren't supposed to because we knew we performed the dhuhr, according to him, this asr salah can become suspended. And when we continue performing the other salawat, we perform Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr, Dhuhr, and we perform 5 salah, and then the time for Asr comes in again, then we make up for this Dhuhr salah that we missed yesterday. Then all of these salawat now will be valid, according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi. According to Sahibain, the first ruling of invalidation and nullification still applies. But according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi, right, which is a view that some of these scholars have adopted, then the asl of the salah will not be invalidated according to Imam Abu Hanifa. For example, a person begins to pray the Asr and he remembered he did not pray Dhuhr. However, throughout the day he did not make the Dhuhr. Rather, he kept on praying without making up the Dhuhr. He therefore prayed Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr and Dhuhr of the next day without making up for the Dhuhr. At this point, the new Asr time has arrived and the person performs wudu and makes up for the Dhuhr he missed the previous day. The fact that he had made up for the Dhuhr in this time validates all the prayers after missing the Dhuhr. Though if he made up the Dhuhr before this time, the prayers before are converted into Nafil. The prayers before are converted into Nafil. It means that based upon the previous ruling that we have mentioned, if a person performs Asr Salah knowing he performed Dhuhr, we said it will become invalid, but he performed it, it means that this would become like Nafil Salah, not Farz Salah. Right? So if the person waits until the end of 5 Salah after the Dhuhr, he missed Dhuhr, then he performed Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr, Dhuhr. 5 salawat he performed. Then in the Asr Salah, Asr timing, he performed the Dhuhr. All of the salawat before will be valid and the farz entity of the salah will remain. It will not be as Nafil Salah. As opposed to, at the time of Asr, he knew he missed Dhuhr, he still performed the Asr, but he was Sahib al-Tartib. At the time of Maghrib, he knew he missed Dhuhr, he still performed Asr and Maghrib. Now according to Imam Abu Hanifa, these 2 salawat are suspended. If the person after the Maghrib Salah performs the Dhuhr Salah he had as Qadha, these salawat now cease to become farz and they become nafil, because it's only a little amount. He was supposed to, based upon the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, perform the Dhuhr Salah firstly, but he decided to intentionally perform Maghrib, Asr first, then Maghrib, and then he made the Qadha. These 2 salah that he has performed here will become invalidated with regards to the farz entity of it. It is nafil. And he will have to pray over those salawat as qadha. Right? So, I know it may sound confusing, but we mention as much as possible with regards to the qadha salah. So, generally speaking, we will end this topic tonight, inshallah. Right? So, I hope that we do not confuse anyone, inshallah. Those brothers and sisters who may be viewing, right? You may refer these masail to your local ulama, inshallah. And, right, be precautious about our salah. We have to learn about our salah, inshallah. Right? So I hope that and pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives me for whatever fault that I have made here. Right? These things are sometimes technical. And may He forgive me, inshallah, and give us the tawfiq to understand these masail and inshallah perform our salah on time, so we don't have to worry about making up qadha, inshallah. Right? So jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.